LSR forever. The reason I still do this. Big news. I got a text 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. And BWTM Sports and Gaming out of the UK did a video about it the other day. I'm just now getting to it, but I got a text 2 days ago from world-class trainer James Bashir, Emmanuel Stewart's right-hand man. He sent his paperwork over, whatever, had an interview with the AJ camp. So that is huge news. James Bashir had a meeting with Anthony Joshua. And I keep saying Joshua has to get James Bashir or Stacey McKinley in his corner, I believe, to beat Usyk. Or he doesn't, necessarily have to have them in his corner to beat Usyk, but it's a huge it would be a huge acquisition because James Bashir worked with Alexander Usyk for 3 years at the start of his cruiserweight career, and he says he's the only man that knows how to beat Usyk. And one of the things I like about James Bashir is he's no nonsense, real funny guy, but no nonsense. And he doesn't believe in a lot of the stuff you see boxers doing, A lot of the stuff boxers do nowadays, this new type of training, you didn't see fighters do that back in the day. And people always seem to think the more you go along in society, generation after generation, people seem to think that you become smarter, but that's not necessarily true. And if you're doing unnecessary things, that's kind of just wasting your energy. What's his name? Andre Ward sent out a text the other day or a tweet to Anthony Joshua. Joshua said he had to work harder, and Andre Ward said you have to work smarter. And that's true in a lot of cases. You don't want to waste unnecessary energy. Boxing already takes a lot of mental energy and physical energy. You don't want to waste it doing things that don't apply to the ring. So like stuff like deadlifts. Deadlifts is a useless exercise. You can really injure your back doing it. I guess people do it to see how strong they are, but it's pretty much useless. That's not going to help you in the ring. If you can deadlift 500 pounds, great. Well, how's that going to help you take a punch or throw a punch? So James Bashir will go in there and get rid of all the stuff that he doesn't see that doesn't really have an advantage. It doesn't help you in the ring. And if he's worked with Usyk for 3 years, that's the man you want in the corner. I've said this before. When Lennox Lewis lost his first fight to Oliver McCall, who did he get? He got Oliver McCall's main guy, Emmanuel Stewart. He brought in, I guess he figured, if this guy beat me, and he shouldn't have, I want to get his corner man and find out everything he knows about me. Because Emmanuel Stewart said, a lot of people said that was a lucky punch or whatever. That's what they said, that Oliver McCall got in a lucky punch because he was closing his eyes and knocked down Lennox Lewis. It was a quick count if you ask me, but Emmanuel Stewart said they worked on that in camp. They were timing Lennox Lewis so they could beat him to the punch before he threw that overhand right. So, like I said, I would want the guy that worked with the guy. So if James Bashir, even if it was decades ago, worked with Alexander Usyk for 3 years, he knows a lot. So I would want him in my corner. I'd want to know everything about him. And another thing about James Bashir is he's a thinker, so he can come up with a good strategy. This is Emmanuel Stewart's right-hand man. We know Emmanuel Stewart was the greatest boxing trainer of all time, easily. The greatest boxing trainer of all time. And James Bashir was his right-hand man. He'd leave James in charge at the Kronk Gym in Detroit. So I would just want the guy that's worked with the guy. It only makes sense. It's not going to hurt you. It can only help you. He can tell you things about him that, your current trainer can't tell you because he's worked with them. So I hope AJ hires James Bashir. And if he hires James Bashir, I'm going to definitely have to definitely reanalyze this fight because, like I said, James Bashir knows what he's talking about. He's been in the game for years. He's not one of these hurry come up trainers that just, latches on to a guy with a winning record and helps him win or whatever. He's got an actual he's got a method of how he does things, and he's no nonsense. And like I said, very funny. Got a lot of great stories, but he's no nonsense. So Anthony Joshua, I hope he hires James Bashir. Like I said, James Bashir went to the UK and met with him. Told me when he was up there, sent me the text. I had the exclusive. Yeah. Me, Jay Roos. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Do you hope that AJ brings in James Bashir? I know I do. Anyway, make sure you comment, share, subscribe, and be fearless. Yay, yay. LSR forever.